Hello. Hello, and welcome to the new series, Fright Nights on NightmareFuel. I'm here to talk you through some of the things that you can expect to hear during your first episode here, and I hope you get started down this new and exciting series. Something worth mentioning is that these episodes aren't easy to produce. You may have noticed that there hasn't been any story since Christmas, but hey, you have Fright Nights, and we're working our hardest to get episodes out. It's just we don't have a female voice. But I want to reassure you that the NightmareFuel team is committed to the podcast and above all, horror. Well, I think that's it. You should be golden. Make sure you have those notifications on, and subscribe if you want to. Oh yeah, and keep that music box wound up. Good night.
Hello guys, and welcome to the first episode of my new series on NightmareFuel called Fright Nights, where we talk about all things horror. Today's episode, I'm joined by two special guests, Chuckster.
That's me, hello.
And Little Dude 21.
G'day, how's it going?
These two great people know it all about Five Nights at Freddy's. You know, I'm just putting a warning out there. I don't know too much.
That's why we're going to teach you.
Yes, we'll show you the ways.
That's what these two are for. So today, well, you could probably guess, we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. All things FNAF. The books, movie, games. What else? What else there is?
Everything. The fan base initiative. I think
we could do the fan games.
Yeah, well, plan on. That's what FNAF Plus was.
But obviously, you probably would have guessed that it was Five Nights at Freddy's based if you were watching the YouTube video. But if you weren't, well, it's Five Nights at Freddy's based. So,
yes.
Since it's the first episode, would you two want to tell us a bit about yourselves, and then I'll go last?
All right then. I'll go first then. Hello, my name is Charlie, or the Chuckster, or Chuckster, as Alan called me. I'm an animator. I make animations on the internet and stuff, and I like Five Nights at Freddy's. I've watched my fair share of MatPat videos, so you know, I'm familiar with this subject. I like to think.
And I'm Little Dude 21, Dylan, you can call me. I've just been a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's since the first game came out. I remember getting it on my friend's MacBook, and it was crazy. It was crazy scary. I mean, I look back at it now, and it's not so much scary, but yeah, those memories will always be with me. And I've just kept watching MatPat's videos, really, and keeping in the loop of the lore.
Well, I'm Alan. I'm the exact opposite of Dylan. Well, I wouldn't say exact, but I played the games when they came out. I did not keep up with the lore. It took me a while to even find out there was books. But now I want them all.
Yeah, same. I've only got two of them, so and I've only read one.
I have the first one, and that's it. And I think it's like half shredded apart.
Oh dear.
Just from age and time.
Well, I want to get them all. I want the hard copies, not the digital ones. I feel like having something there to say that you have it is a lot better than just
yeah, for sure,
having it digital. But well, yeah, I'm Alan. I am 15. 16 in 4 days of recording this.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
So,
we both just said that.
That was very in sync. But yeah, so I played Five Nights at Freddy's when it came out. That's about it.
Cool.
And I'm the owner of the podcast.
You are indeed.
I will be here every time.
Well, I'm super excited for today's episode, and I just want to before we get right into the You know what I mean. I can't think of the words.
The meat.
Yes, exactly. I just want to say a huge thank you to Alan for having me on. It's a great pleasure, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, now I feel bad. I should probably say thank you as well, Alan. Thank you for having me. Are we making them aware of this?
Oh wait, no, I aware of what happened last time, or
Aware
Yes.
of maybe this has already happened? We don't know. They don't know that.
Okay. Quick disclaimer: this is the second time recording this. Dylan did not include his audio last time,
I did an oopsie.
so this is the second time. So a lot of things, if we don't seem too interested in it, it's because we've already talked about it. But we will talk about it again.
I mean,
Well, no,
I'm
it's
still
super
interested.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that I've heard a lot of it, I forgot all of it, so I am the exact same as last week.
Time for a
Yes.
recap.
Well, where do you guys want to start?
See, yeah, that's the good thing. Since we are recording it, we can like do stuff in different orders and everything. I say should we start off with the games, just the basic kind of
Just start.
everyone
where it
knows this kind of
started.
area.
Yeah, for sure. I'll hand it over to Chuckster to start because I feel like I was starting a lot last time. So
Yeah. Okay.
So obviously they're on how many games now? Technically, like the newest game coming out, Security
7.
Breach. Is that the 7th game?
wow.
Well,
Is that-
there's Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, 3, 4, Sister Location, Pizzeria Simulator, and FNAF World.
And don't
Yes,
forget about
and Ultimate Custom Night and Help Wanted.
and
Oh yeah.
have you mentioned the AR game? The
Oh yeah, of course. And
oh,
there's
that one.
Freddy in Space as well.
Oh my god! So like over 10
Would-
something.
Let's just not include numbers. How about that?
A lot.
The newest game coming out, which is one of the many in the FNAF saga, of course, being FNAF Security Breach, which was scheduled to come out in December, I believe.
Mhm.
However, it's been pushed back because Scott wants to add more content.
Always good to
Which-
hear.
Yeah, we were speaking about this before, saying how like the way he approached it, he made it really clear that it wasn't the game's in a rough state right now. It's not going to be ready in time because that's how history has shown that when stuff like that happens, the final product usually isn't to the perfect
Yeah,
state of which people hoped it would have been.
for sure.
However, he tried to word it so clearly that it's not that the game isn't finished, it's that he wants to add more.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Which I really respect.
yeah, I was just about to say that. I think that's a great decision on Scott's end. The very fact that, I mean, that's a huge risk, right? You're getting a game ready. You've announced it to release on December, and you've taken a look at it and gone, "Hey, this game's already huge. I want to add more." And actually had the guts to say to the fan base who are going to be extremely hyped about the game for December, has had the guts to say, guys, look, I'm going to be completely clear. I want to add more for you guys, so I'm going to delay it until early next year. The fact that he can do that, I think is quite, in a sense, it's quite brave of him because, the FNAF fan base is absolutely humongous. And to, like I just said, to have the guts to say we're going to delay it is huge props to him.
Of course, yeah. I think one of the great things about Scott, well, this is kind of already going away from the games, but like doesn't really matter, is how by far I wouldn't really call Scott an indie developer anymore because of course he has Steel Will Studios and everything. Of course he doesn't run that, but like
Yeah.
he's expanded outside of I think the area that you'd call someone an indie developer.
Oh yeah.
But I
Yeah.
feel like since he has been an indie developer, and there was a stage where he was, the peak, like perfect definition of one, I think that makes him even greater of a creator now because he understands the fan base and he's interacted with them and he still interacts with them. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the great things about indie games where like the developers and everything are constantly listening to the fans, or at least for games that I've looked at. And
Yeah.
I feel like having someone who is big and who wouldn't really be considered an indie developer anymore doing this sort of stuff that they do is just really good for the fans. And I think allows him to pull off stuff like this where he was like, we're adding more content, this is why it's delayed and stuff, because the fans trust him.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's a huge part that you mentioned there, the whole trust thing. They know we all know that Scott has good intentions when he delays something, um, whether that be to stage a huge troll, or in this case to just add more content, or even if he were to come out and say, "Listen, guys, I wanted," because we've seen in the past with the Five Nights at Freddy's games, Scott makes them with months in between, sort of thing. They come out very quickly. Not so much anymore because obviously they're bigger games.
Here's something I'll ask then. Do you think Scott will ever make another game just himself? Another indie game which is the style of like FNAF 1 to 4 type game?
I think he will. I genuinely think he will.
I think he might as well. I think maybe not for a few years.
Oh yeah,
but
for
I
sure.
feel like he'll almost pull like a kind of like a Sonic Mania, if you know what I mean by that.
I do. Yeah.
And almost make like it's like a not necessarily a remake of the first game, but like a new approach to the first types of games, and hopefully he'll add new mechanics and stuff. But I could definitely see that happening. And
I was just gonna say, I can see him maybe not necessarily making a Five Nights at Freddy's game. I can see him making an indie game, sort of. I think Matt Pat touched on this, but I think it was a really good thought of his. When perhaps Security Breach is released, and by the sounds of it, it's going to be a huge game. We probably won't get another game until next year or the year after or something. And I feel like in that space of time, Scott's just going to put his feet back, create an indie game, a bit like he used to just before the first Five Nights at Freddy's, like something like that. Go back to his roots, and he's just going to release it for free. And I don't know. I just feel like that's something that he would do. But in that game, it's totally unrelated to Five Nights at Freddy's, except that there's little hints here and there that tie into the lore. Yeah, I feel like that's something that he would do. It's not a Five Nights at Freddy's game, but if you really look at the metaphors that it's trying, like the story's trying to show, or maybe characters are saying, you can sort of translate those metaphors into hints at the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know. I think that would be pretty awesome, and I think that's something that he quite possibly would do. It's very Scott to do that.
It would be very Scott to do that, yeah.
And I think that'd be awesome, Give us another classic Scott indie game,
Like, yeah, I know there's a lot of... He could even, connect it to FNAF quite easily without it being completely related. Like, one of the things I love is, like, games that have, are, like... It's a separate game. It doesn't have any real ties to the other game that the person's made, but it's in the same universe, and it has little Easter eggs and stuff.
Yes,
Like I always kind of like Half-Life and Portal did it really well. Where like throughout all of Portal and all of Half-Life 2, there's little nods to like Aperture Science and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. I think it's really smart.
Yeah, I think, perhaps it could be, I don't know what type of game it would be, but maybe there's like posters on the walls or something, which shows maybe like one or two posters around the map that shows Freddy Fazbear's Pizza or something, or maybe there could be a newspaper lying around on one of the on one of the levels that says, like, I don't know, Freddy Fazbear's closes down or something, just as like a little hint, I don't know, like to show that it's in the same world, but it's not Five Nights at Freddy's.
I think that'd be very awesome. Smart, and like, I can definitely see that happening.
Or even the missing children's posters.
Yeah, that's what I was
that'd
picturing.
Be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like in the newspaper, it's like, oh, five kids have gone missing, and you look at that, you're playing the game, and you think, this sounds familiar. And it turns out,
I could almost see something that I think would be really smart, and knowing Scott, Scott's a very smart guy, I like to think, and he'd be able to pull something off like this, where like, oh, this game has a mystery where it's like, where is it based, what time period is it in, or something like that, and he would be able to do something like put a FNAF poster in for like FNAF 2, or like the location of FNAF 2, and that would be like, aha, that tells us it's at this timeline and stuff. for that game.
You've just made me think. You know, that brings me to a point that I want to mention that I think could be quite interesting. If you look at the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 location in the storyline is quite possibly the most influential location, and the one that appears in it feels like like a really important location, like the main one, because I've got that timeline up again, and you're scrolling through, and you know, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 location, or Junior's, is literally it's like it lasts throughout from like 82 or 83 to 87, 88. So it's crazy how long that one. I think that location's the one that lasted the longest, I think, in terms of how long it was open for. Because if I'm not wrong, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 didn't have any murders, did it?
I'd have to rewatch one of the videos, but I don't think so. No,
I don't think it was. I think it was William Afton. He was just messing with the animatronics, because that's what the phone guy says. I mean, we can't always trust the phone guy in what he says, because some of it just throws the timeline off completely.
Oh yeah, and especially in the earlier games.
Oh yeah, which makes sense. You know, the later games are going to show more truth in terms of what the real story is, because again, like we said in the last episode, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, it was his last game. I mean, he was like, I'm gonna make this game. This is my last one. If it doesn't work out, I'm gonna go back to the supermarket and just stack shelves. I'll just get a job, you know, that kind of thing, because it wasn't working out in his favor. And in the Dorco podcast, it's not a podcast, but in the Dorco video
interview,
the interview. Thank you. He says that Scott says that he was when he made Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Obviously, it was his last game and stuff, and it was just an indie game. It was a horror game, that kind of thing. But he specifically says in that interview that he did genuinely leave some room for story, just in case. Which, you know, he never thought it was going to take off, but in the event that it did, he left some room for story to be put in, and it turns out it's a good job he did.
I remember him talking at that part, and I think the thing that he even said is he didn't plan the story then, he just said he left parts to put story in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so sort of, you know, the missing children's incident, he won't have, at that point, he won't have known where that was going, and he probably didn't even know William Afton's name, that kind of thing, like he didn't think of that, but the five missing children's incident, that was probably one of the many areas that he thought that could turn into a story.
Exactly.
A horrible story. A very gory story, but yeah.
A good story nonetheless.
Oh, it's so incredible. Again, like we said last episode, and I think that's going to be the case for most of today's episode, but just the level of detail when you get to the latest games, I mean, it's beyond one man thinking of all this. It's crazy. It really is crazy.
It really is.
And in that Dorco interview, you know, he says, and like immeasurably, understandably, he says that, you know, FNAF World was sort of a break from thinking about murders every day. Creating the story, you know, he said the human mind, even if it's your own story, can only take so much murder, and I think that's quite an important thing, you know, like as involved and as incredible as the story is, the guy's got to give himself a break from murders and death, and yeah,
of course, yeah. Going back to the new game, Security Breach, shall we talk a little bit about our predictions for it? What do you think is going to be in it?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go for it. I'm super excited
So-
about that game.
It does look really good. Yeah, it's releasing on the PC. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hopefully my PC will be able to run it. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm sure I'll find a way to play it. But yeah, so we see that the location is a little bit different to our regular pizzeria that we're used to.
Indeed.
It is very much. I was calling it an amusement park before. However,
mall.
I am quite aware. Yeah, it's more of a mall than an amusement park. There was a word that they used in like one of the trailers, or like Doco used, which was its like correct term. But it's pretty close. It's kind of like a mall and an amusement park.
Pizzaplex?
Pizzaplex, that's the word he uses, yes.
Yeah. Imagine that. Pizza
Which I think
Plex.
it's really exciting.
Pizza everywhere.
It's
A gigantic mall
Yes.
for pizza.
only pizza.
And, of course, chips. So,
Of course, you can't leave out the chips.
yeah. You can't, you can't leave him out. So what were you saying about the game? I mean, it looks like a huge game.
So we still haven't seen any direct gameplay.
Yeah.
So are we sure it's a free roam game? Is that like confirmed, or are we still a little bit in the dark about that?
All we have at this point in time is pure speculation, unfortunately. As we know, we're going to be getting a trailer in March, which suggests we might get it in March or April sort of time, the game, because the Help Wanted trailer released, I think it was in April, and it came out in April of last year, which is quite promising. But then again, it could release in like May or something. They did say early in the year, so I guess that kind of takes us up to about June, July. So in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that long to wait. But yeah, at the moment, it's just pure speculation. I mean, by the looks of things, the way that the game looks, I think we can pretty much sort of know that it's going to be free roam to some extent. Perhaps it's...
Yeah, I think so.
Perhaps it could be... I mean, if you look at Help Wanted, I guess that... I mean, technically that's free roam. If you had a big enough room.
I guess, yeah, but the thing with Help Wanted, yeah, it was a VR game. But yeah, I hope it is. I have a feeling the thing I always wonder when games like these are announced is like, how is it going to be laid out? Is it going to be like levels, or is it going to be like just continuing one long story? Like the thing I was thinking about the other day was like, oh, so you know that main kind of like center of the like Pizzaplex place with the stages and everything, is that going to be like a lobby kind of area where like you walk around, you need to go like, oh, to go to the next level you need to go down the stairs, or oh, to go to the next one you need to go up this stairs, you need to go down this like into this pizzeria area or whatever. And I was just wondering if it would be something like that, or to be something like going back to Portal before, where like Portal's just one continuous, oh, you do these things, then you just keep going through into this store and it's the next chapter and stuff.
Yeah,
so that's stuff I'm just really wondering about.
It's interesting that that you say that. I mean, the game could go in any direction, really. I think the way I see it, the thing I'm speculating is it is free roam, but you have to complete... So you have to go to a specific part of the mall, complete that level, and then when you do that, it unlocks another part of the mall, but you're not sort of... how do you explain it? You get what I mean. It's like locked by levels, so perhaps there's like...
Yes.
If you imagine a mall,
you've
got like the metal gate door things, and then, you know, you complete a level in it, and you can open it and go in and out, and you can redo levels, because obviously it's free roam. But I don't think it's going to... I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's super exciting. It could definitely be a continuous story like Portal. And obviously you can save it. Maybe they've got checkpoints. Who knows? Maybe they've got like little mini Freddy statues like the one in the trailer.
That'd be funny.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be very funny.
It could be like that. It definitely could be like that.
Oh no, I forgot to click on the Freddy statue and now I'm all the way back here.
Yeah, that could be annoying. Oh man,
But,
yeah.
I could definitely, if they go for the approach you're saying, where it's like, oh, you unlock different areas, I could totally see kind of what they did. Less so with Help Wanted, where they had, you know, how they had the Showtime game, like just locked, you just couldn't get it yet.
Yeah, yeah.
I could definitely see like, oh, the kind of like the place where you like spawn, I guess, in the kind of lobby area we're talking about. You'd be like facing the stage, and there'd be like a door behind the stage that would be like the final level, but it was like you couldn't get there until you complete the whole game beforehand. You know what I mean?
That would definitely be interesting. But I've just thought now, I think maybe, just maybe, like as I'm imagining it, I think like a continuous story would probably work better because sorry, we'll have to cut this bit out because my mum just walked in. So as I'm imagining it, I think sort of a free roam but sort of Portal game sort of style, you know, the continuous story would definitely work better. I mean, any style would work. Come on, it's Scott, you know. But
I'm sure, yes, anything they like dish out, I'm sure will be good.
Yeah, but I think it could be a bit annoying with checkpoints, perhaps, and it wouldn't feel like Five Nights at Freddy's. I feel like if it was a continuous story, it would definitely feel like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Because the original games are continuous stories. If you think about it,
you complete a night and you immediately go into the next.
Yeah. You can't go back a night or anything.
No. Yeah.
Alan, do you have any ideas of how you think it'll be structured?
Personally, I'd have to agree with Dylan. Mainly because, again, I don't know too much about the new game, but I'd personally want to see it how Dylan described it. Because it, like, when you were actually describing it, it was giving me, like, Call of Duty zombie vibes.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way of thinking.
Work up to move to the next bit.
Yeah.
The next part of the map. So, I'd personally like to see that.
For sure, I think that would definitely work.
Yeah.
And because a lot of horror games are traditionally that kind of style, like an ongoing story kind of thing, where looking at Outlast, which Alan, I know you're very familiar with. That's just one continuous story, you know what I mean? There's no like lobby to go back to or anything. So yeah.
Speaking of games, just a side note, you know, this morning I just completed. I found all the coins in Help Wanted.
Oh really?
VR, yeah. I've got an Oculus Quest 2. It's amazing. I mean, when I plug it into my computer, the graphics are a million times better, but the immersion's still there. Yeah, I found all the coins. I got all the secret endings. It's pretty lit, not gonna lie. And that brings me on to my.
Haven't played it.
Oh really? You should try it. I mean, I think you can get it on mobile, PC.
There's a flat screen.
I really don't want to play it.
But yeah, I think games like VR ports that are gone flat screen, I even when I have played them, which is very little ones I have played, I always think like this isn't the intended way to play it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's the same with like games like Rec Room or VR Chat. You're supposed to be VR.
In VR Chat, I get jealous when I see people who are like moving both their hands at the same time. I'm like, I wish I could do that.
See, I want to get the Quest.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I was just going to say, you know how we were speaking about security breach? When you do the pizza, what's it called in Night Terrors? The very, very, very last level, the pizza party, I think it's called.
Yes.
When you get to the final room and, you know, you're backstage, and Glitch Trap's trying to lure you in. If you look to your right, there's a door open. And it's snowing
the door's
outside.
Open now, yeah.
Yeah, and I did that this morning. I went out, and you can see that there's a humongous mall being built, which makes me wonder. Okay, here's where the storyline gets very weird. Help Wanted, you are a beta tester for a VR game. So you're playing a VR game about playing a VR game, okay? So
Correct.
when you're playing in Help Wanted in VR, you are the beta tester in VR, which is very confusing, but that's how it is. So surely, this is what I don't get. When you go out through that door, why can you see the mall being built if the mall isn't in VR?
The only thing I could say to that, which would make this possible, is I'm not 100% sure if like the Christmas DLC or whatever is canon.
Yeah.
That could have just been a way to promote it. However, Scott is known to try and play these things off as like, oh, it's just not canon, but it isn't, so who knows?
Who knows? I definitely think it's probably just a promotion. You know, it's like, hey, look, there's a new game coming. There's a new mall. I mean, heck, what are they called? Silver Parasol games in the lore. The people that make I mean, they could have put that there, as a sort of tease for the actual mall in real life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? But I thought it was quite interesting. It's kind of like, I mean, it's not breaking the fourth wall in a narrative sense, like like speaking sense, but it kind of is in terms of, the mall's being built in the background, but hold on, that's in real life, so why is that in VR? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
It's food for thought, yeah. Did you get the Halloween DLC? Does that cost money, or is that free?
Yeah, it's about £7.
Wait, so this getting cut out, yeah?
No, this part here won't. The part where I start talking about the Halloween stuff you can keep in.
Alright, okay.
But yeah, it's funny you should say that, because I got the Halloween DLC literally like 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
And it's absolutely amazing. I think the Halloween one, I wouldn't say it's scary. There's some game modes that are like scarier than the main ones.
I know the hallway one is apparently really freaky.
Yes, and I completed that this morning, and it took me a million tries. It was so hard. But I did it, and it was amazing. And the location that you end up in is the FNAF 4 bedroom, which is pretty cool.
And you see the lightning strikes, and you see the shadow of Fredbear, don't you?
Yeah, right. But honestly, that is the most nerve-wracking thing ever. Right? You literally, you see the Foxy plushie on the floor, which means Foxy's gone. You don't need to worry about him anymore. And literally, you keep going. Doors are opening. You think, oh god, one of the animatronics is going to get me from the doors, and then you just literally this ominous Nightmare Freddy noise, like the little Freddles, you just hear the noise getting closer and closer, and like because I wear headphones over the headset, like I can actually hear it behind me. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And even though it's horror, it was really fun, really cool experience.
I definitely, just talking about VR headsets right now, I'm already just looking up on my phone Oculus Quest.
I think they're about $299, aren't they?
Yeah, that's like, that is so cheap for a VR headset.
And
I remember less than like a year ago, the like cheapest one you could get on Oculus was like 400 quid.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, it is the best, aside from my PC, it's the best like piece of technology I've ever gotten in my entire life.
So I know this is kind of going off the topic of FNAF, but that's fine.
It's a podcast.
I know with a lot of like VR headsets, they're like, oh, the ones that are limited to your computer, at least they have to plug in. They're like, oh, you need this graphics card to run it and stuff. Is that the same for the Quest? Like, do you need to have like a specific graphics card? Because I know it's like portable already. So
yeah, I mean, like you don't. If you want to, basically, I bought a cable off Amazon to basically hook it up to my computer when I wanted to. I can play PC VR. And by the way, if you buy non-Oculus games, they're free on PC. If you re-download them on PC, you don't have to pay for them again, which is pretty awesome.
Wonderful.
But I don't think you need that good of a graphics card because you can't. I think it just. I don't know how it works. Maybe you do when you plug it in, but obviously when you're just using it without the wires,
I was
it does it all
wondering
for
that
you.
because, of course, it'd be built to be used on its own already. So I was wondering if that would put less strain on the computer. I don't know. Back
Quite
to
possibly.
FNAF.
Yes, back to
Five Nights at
FNAF.
Freddy's.
What can we move on to next? Should we move on from the games and move on to the books or something now, do you think?
I think we should move on to the books.
All right then. So, the latest book coming out is that no Blackbird's out now, isn't it?
I think it's Cliffs, isn't it? Is that what it's called? The next
Is that
book.
what it's called? The one that has the bird on the front.
The Blackbird's the last one to be released so far. But I think,
Is that out now? Yes.
yeah,
I couldn't remember if it was coming out.
I think the next installment is The Cliffs. Yeah, here we go. The Cliffs is number 7. So there's been I think there's been like 3 more, like up to 11 announced. I don't think Scott ever anticipated the books to be this popular. So next up in the line, we've got The Cliffs, and after that, we've got Gumdrop Angel. I mean, random titles, but I mean they always tie in, don't they? They're always
of course.
They're always like gigantic metaphors for, you know, some of the lore of the main games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we've got The Cliffs coming up.
I myself haven't read any of the books, but I've heard a lot about them. Personally, I don't think I'll get them. But that's nothing against Scott at all. I'm sure they're very good. But sorry, I've got a frog in my throat now. But from what I've heard of them, they're very good.
Yeah.
And yes, how many more upcoming ones did you say there were?
So currently we've got up to 6, and I think there's 5 more planned, which all have descriptions. And speaking of descriptions, The Cliffs, which is the next one to be released on March the 4th. Yeah, pretty soon, to be fair. The description reads, "Some things must be learned the hard way. Reed sees an opportunity to teach the school bully not to mess with him, but ends up mangling the lesson. Mangle, Robert, an exhausted single father, gets a crash course in parenting when he buys a fancy new teddy bear to watch and entertain his young son. Chris, eager to join the science club at school, agrees to undergo a grisly experiment to be accepted, but in the malevolent universe of Five Nights at Freddy's is always an education in pain." Ooh. I'll be honest, I don't understand what it's talking about, but cool.
So I think some of the wordings to those are really like, mangled, mangle.
Yeah, the front cover is like a broken plush Freddy with a speaker in his chest.
I see. Also, it was the thing before they were saying about the science experiment, and they're saying like grizzly, and I was like, oh, grizzly bear, Fred Bear.
Yeah, true. And it says, Robert, an exhausted single father. Henry.
Single father.
Who knows?
Food for thought, food for mouth.
Yeah. But I'm definitely going to be reading. I've read the Silver Eyes. I might have to do like search on Google a quick summary or something, and then I can remember what's happened. I know what happens. I know what the outcome, the huge plot twist to the 3 first books are.
Yes, I'm aware of them as well.
But for the purpose of, I mean, the books have been out for ages, but in case anyone doesn't want to be spoiled, I'm not going to say that. But I think I'm still going to read them, and I'm going to hopefully get the 4th closet at some point after reading, excuse me, the twisted ones.
I remember the twisted ones. The whole joke about it when it first came out was it was like half as long as Silver Eyes.
Is it really? I
fair
didn't
play
even
to
notice.
it. Like Silver Eyes is a pretty long book.
Yeah,
I mean, compared
is.
to some people, I know people can read like super fast, but I ain't the fastest reader in the world. But I remember just like Scott made note of people are like, "Oh, it's too long," and he like purposely made the second one like
A lot
half
shorter.
as long.
Yeah.
Yes, which makes me wonder if that almost he only planned of making 2 books, and the whole thing was with the Twisted Ones is what was going to be in the Twisted Ones was also turned into the Fourth Closet, which is the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Make a shorter book. You know, people have a short attention span these days, including me. I mean, gosh, I have a terrible attention span. So, but from what I can remember, The Silver Eyes was an amazing book. I mean, the whole, I mean, again, I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, the book's been out for ages, but I won't spoil anything. But just the detail, as in like sort of the way it's written is so good.
I didn't get too far into it, but I do remember where I get up to. I think they were in the pizzeria. That's all I'll say. They'd gone through like a mall or something, and they were in the pizzeria. And then I kind of just forgot about the book.
Yeah.
But I just remember at the start, there's a part where Charlie, the main character, she goes into her old house.
Mm.
And it was just her interacting with the old toys she had in her, the old animatronic figures or whatever she had in her room. And just the detailed description, I was like, damn.
Yeah, and
For the first time writer, this is decent. More than decent. It's very good.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the opening to that book is like, it's describing something about, I won't say which one for the purpose of spoilers, but a certain Foxy, was described in that first one, and it was so, like, you just pictured it immediately, you know? And it's great, and I'm excited to see the books do well, you know? Here we are again at the silence. Let's go.
Here we are again at the silence.
I mean, we have been going for almost an hour now.
I have 42 minutes on my thing. I say talk about... What else do we have to talk about? There was something else. Oh, the fan initiative. And then do you think we should wrap it up?
For sure. Yeah.
Alan, how do you feel about that?
I don't really mind. We could do that, and we haven't really touched upon the movie.
Oh, either. Of course, the movie. Oh, we need to talk about the movie as well.
All right,
Should we talk about the movie now?
We'll do the movie and the fan initiative, and then I mean we've been going for 42.5 minutes, so we're doing good.
That should take us up to about an hour, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the movie now. I think we should.
For sure.
There's been a lot of talk about it. I remember for ages it just went completely silent, and then people were like, they're not going to make a movie, even though I remember back in like 2014 when the movie was first announced, when the first game came out, and everyone in primary school was running to me and they're like, "Oh, Charlie, do you know they're making a Five Nights at Freddy's movie?" And I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
But it never happened. And even myself, I lost kind of hope. I was like, it was probably just, playground rumors or whatever. But in the last few weeks, there's been a lot of news coming out.
A lot, yeah.
When did you say it started filming? It starts
Filming starts in spring, and spring whenever companies say spring, when they're filming in spring, it's always like March. So it seems like everything's starting to ramp up in March. I mean, we've got Security Breach trailer, we've got books, merch, the movie. But yeah, they're starting to film in spring of this year. And the screenplay title, so this film, the screenplay is labeled Mike, which we can gather from that Michael Afton, which is very intriguing.
However,
massively intriguing.
What was the name on the paycheck to the first game? Was that Mike or Jeremy?
The first one was... I think the first one was Mike Schmidt.
So it could also be a reference to that, which I've been trying to keep in my head as well.
Yeah, that is a very, very good point. I mean, Scott knows we're going to immediately think Michael Afton.
But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, like he's like trying to trick us in our head, and we're like, which Mike does he mean? But
Yeah,
I remember last time we filmed this, or recorded this, sorry.
some
We
of
were
us
talking
did.
about how the kind of reason it's kind of taken so long is because Scott and the company who are making the film, but I think mainly Scott has kind of just he's written a script and he just hasn't approved of it, or he thinks like, oh, it's too dark, or it's too complicated, or there's too much lore, or there's not enough lore and stuff like that. So I don't know how many scripts he's gone through. Didn't you say it's something like 4 or 5 you went through?
Yeah, there's a Reddit post he did, which I'm gonna get up now, which literally went through every screenplay that they've written so far, including the one that you know, including the one that they're actually going to release. Excuse me. But here we go. Find Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, they did a lot of screenplays. And he, because obviously they're not doing the screenplays anymore, except for the Mike one, which they are doing. He basically he gave a description for all of them, like what was going to happen in them, which I think is pretty cool and like transparent, like he always is. So let me get Scott up here. I mean, what are your predictions while I get this up?
So I definitely think, as it's a movie and it's going to be bringing in for the most part, a completely different audience, or just on top of the audience he already has, the newcomers to the film who won't know all the lore and stuff. I think it will definitely not involve the complex timeline that has been worked out over many years. I'm sure it'll have subtle nods to it. However, I think it'll either be based in a separate universe, or it will just be a section of the timeline where it's not very complicated. And I definitely see it being based on the first film, because as much as Five Nights at Freddy's has definitely changed over time, with, it doesn't necessarily have to be a pizzeria anymore, or it's like, oh, it's a big pizza plaza, stuff like that. I feel like for most people, FNAF is still kind of that base. You're sitting in a chair, you're watching cameras, you're a security guard in a pizzeria.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's still going to be something like that, and the main character is going to be like a night guard. But yeah, I can definitely... Isn't it Blumhouse Productions that are making it now? Originally it was Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think he's gone with the choice to go with Blumhouse instead is such a good, that is a huge thing. Blumhouse only make horror movies. They are a horror I don't know what you call them.
Horror company, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But going on to the screenplays, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the 10th being the one that he's gone for. So there were 9 scrapped screenplays. I mean, some of the titles: Random Charlie. There was a
Charlie's the books, maybe, but
yeah, there was a screenplay called The Silver Eyes, which is quite interesting. Basing it on the first book. And then the problems with these that he had, because he basically gives the basic setup of what the thing was about, and then he gives the problems and then the verdicts, which are all very interesting. Like the thought process that he goes through, but and they're very sensible. He's saying like the first attempts to try to make a screenplay about a book, but the difficult thing was people wouldn't understand the lore because there's a lot of lore. You've got a screenplay here called Cassidy, which we now know to be one of the souls possessing Golden Freddy, either the soul or one of the souls, because there's a theory about 2 kids possessing it. And the basic setup was diving deep. The screenplay packed in a lot of lore following the story of Cassidy, and the problem was too much lore. It would only satisfy the hardcore fans. And, people just going to watch a horror film who didn't know about FNAF maybe, or maybe only played the games and didn't know about the lore, or only played the first game, they'd go into there and go, huh? Like, they wouldn't have a clue what was going on.
Yeah.
And then, you've got the Mike screenplay, which is what they're going with. And he says, It's a good mix. It has the best pieces from all the previous screenplays. Not really any problems here. All the right characters, all the right motivations, all the right stakes. Filming starts in spring with a smiley face.
That sounds really good. That sounds very promising.
It's very, very promising, and I think the film will probably come out in 2023. That's my guess. I don't think it'll come out next year.
Really? I think it'll come out next year. I'm pretty
sure. Do you reckon? If they're filming this year, knowing Scott, he wants to make it perfect. I feel like he'll just make it come out. Like, he'll continue to work on it next year. I don't know. It probably will come out next year.
Me personally, I think it'll come out either late 2022 or early 2023.
I pray to God that it comes out next year.
I think, fingers crossed. I really hope it comes out next year. But of course, with the stuff that's going on in the world, of course, there might be a few delays on it.
True.
Yeah, especially with cinemas being closed and stuff.
Yep, that doesn't help.
Or theaters if you're from America.
Yes. But yeah, I'm definitely, if the cinemas are open, day one getting my ticket, definitely going to see the film.
Oh yeah, I'm instant purchasing. I'm refreshing the page until the tickets come up.
Alan, do you think you'll see it day one?
Do it. You what? Sorry.
Do you think you'll see it day one?
Oh right.
Sorry.
If cinemas are open, I wouldn't mind going. So, maybe.
The thing I usually do is I wait a few days so that it's not busy. You know what I mean? Like a film, like I did it with the Star Warses. You know, I waited a week, which is a long time, and I had to stay away from spoilers.
Yeah, that would be difficult,
especially with FNAF. But you know, I wait a week, and then I go the week after. It's like my dad and I and two other people in the corner, and you know, we've got the whole place. So it's great. It's great. But I mean, there's like a massive Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I don't know if I could wait that long, honestly. I might just have to sit there with a packed audience.
Yeah. I usually I'm sorry. I usually go on the first day. I'm usually a part of that big crowd. I remember when Endgame came out, I went first day, and like it was the first time you'd seen this in like videos and stuff, like on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, of like people gasping, you know, during the film when stuff happens. And like I remember seeing Endgame and that happened, and I was like, wow, I'm a part of something much bigger. Yeah. Yes, moving on to the fan initiative that was announced September last year, around that time last year.
I think
so. Where, if, for those viewing who doesn't know, of course, FNAF has a very big fan game community. Obviously, it's a very good game for fan games because it you know, unlike with like free roam games and stuff like that, it completely kind of, it's a new style of game, sitting in a chair, you're not able to move and stuff, unlike a lot of other horror games, which are obviously free roaming and stuff. So, being able to have sorry, let me start again.
No worries.
Since FNAF's like a really good thing to replicate and make a fan game out of, since, you know, it's obviously a new style of game, where unlike other horror games where it's like usually free roaming and stuff, with this game, you being sat in a chair checking cameras and stuff is a really cool thing to replicate and make into your own, because it's not really copying this huge other genre of horror games. Exactly. It's kind of in a separate corner.
Yeah, I think exactly the same. And in terms of the games that we're looking at, FNAF Plus, I mean, it looks scary as heck. The VHS tape trailers are, first of all, genius, because what's popular at the moment? FNAF VHS tapes. Trailers, let's think. What? I know, let's do VHS. It's a perfect business strategy, and I appreciate that. Great marketing. But yeah, in terms of the game itself, it just looks incredible.
It does look great. For those who don't know what we're actually on about, the thing going on, what was it called again? FNAF Fan Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
The Fazbear Fanverse Fan Initiative, something like that.
Something like that.
Where pretty much Scott is now funding a group of creators who make FNAF fan games. I think stuff like Five Nights at Candy's, One Night of Flumpties, and someone who's making a game called FNAF Plus, which we're going to be talking about a lot. And pretty much he's helping them get onto different consoles and different, like, on the app stores and stuff like that, where I think he's doing a big bundle that's going onto the Switch, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of them. But yeah, I just think it's a really good thing to do, since, he's giving back to the fans pretty much in
Exactly.
a way that I don't think anyone else has really done.
I
Exactly.
will put the VHS tape trailers in the description of the YouTube video.
Yes.
Yeah,
for
go
people
watch
that
them,
haven't seen it.
people. Seriously,
But-
they're creepy.
Yes, the one we were talking about before is one of the games, FNAF Plus, which I said we were going to talk about quite a lot. They have recently released these like VHS tapes of pretty much trailers without the trailer part.
Yeah.
Of just footage of the new designs for the animatronics, because he's making it isn't a remake necessarily, it's like a reimagining of the first game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say it's more of a teaser.
Yeah.
And the animatronics, at least I think, look downright terrifying. Some of them.
I completely agree, especially Bonnie. That
Bonnie.
face of his with the eyes and just the stare is really menacing. But I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to be getting FNAF Plus when it comes out. That's a guarantee. And I'm excited to see what's in store. And like Alan said, he's going to be linking the stuff in the description. So go check out those VHS tapes if you haven't already seen them, guys. Seriously. They are very creepy. They are very creepy.
Yes, they are. Quite the scare factor. All right, is that us going to wrap up here?
Yeah, I really got to go. Sorry.
Cool. Alan,
Right.
take it away.
Right, okay, so well, with this new series, obviously we can't do this every week. As much as I want to, finding a topic and keeping enough topics for once every now and then, there's a lot of topics that we can't just like mass produce episodes, because eventually we'll just run out. So what I'm planning on doing is maybe doing 2 a month.
I was going to say 2 a month would be a really good one to do.
One in the first half, so 1st to 15. One in the second half, 16 to 28, 29, 30, 31.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try to get episodes out like twice a month. I'm going to try work my hardest to get normal episodes out, as in the stories, because I haven't uploaded one of them since Christmas Eve. So literally a month ago today, as of recording this. But yeah, do you guys want to say anything before we end?
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's been a ton of fun.
Yeah,
promote
same for
something?
me.
Promote social.
Go check me out on YouTube, the Chuckster, or check me out on Twitch, also
I
the
will put
Chuckster,
links in the description.
but 2 E's and an underscore, because someone's impersonating me, and whoever is, they're getting taken down.
We hunting you down. Yeah, just another huge thanks in terms of plugging. Go and check out my very, very new channel, which will have a video coming out on the 29th. I don't know if this is going to be uploaded before or after. But yeah, it's called CPW_archives. I'm sure we can link it in the description.
I will do that.
And let's just say there's going to be some creepy stuff on there. And yes, it's related to Five Nights at Freddy's. So I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to give a shameless plug.
Right, so yeah, I said this last week, but obviously you won't be able to listen to last week's one because technical difficulties. But like I said last time, which again you didn't hear, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that has supported me and the team. Dylan, you can go now if
we
you
can probably
want.
leave now, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, no, because she's recording it though.
Oh, wait, yeah. I can stay. Dylan, you can leave. It's fine.
No. I was kidding. I was kidding.
Right. Okay. So yeah, thank you to everyone that has supported me and the team through the stories. It's been a great 3-4 months of doing this. Although there's not a lot of content on the podcast yet, it's just trying to get episodes out and getting time to do them. Trying to balance streaming, the podcast, and school, and then personal life as well. It's a lot to like juggle around. But I'd just like to say thank you because we are just about 700 listens now.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Well done. That's a huge
600,
milestone.
700 listens. Like,
That's really impressive.
I wasn't expecting that this far in, to be honest. I wasn't even expecting 100. But I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that has listened or has followed on the socials, Spotify, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. But like, it's been good fun. It's been very good fun. But it's just voice actors and that they're not easy to come by. That'll do it for nothing, you know. Especially female voice actors, because there are so many stories that I have permission to do, but a lot of the characters are female. So, yeah, I think that'd be about it. Just thank you, Charlie and Dylan, for coming on. And
Thank you.
taking
You're
the
very
show
welcome.
from me. Technically, I just sat there.
Nah, you chipped in here and there. It was good fun. I really appreciate it.
Wait till we get to an Outlast one. You won't hear the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
But
All right, mine is about to automatically stop recording if I don't do it now.
yeah, okay, right. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you two for coming on. We'll see you when we see you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bobowski.